Okay, so you want to own vending machines. Buy a machine, find a spot, fill it with snacks, collect the cash. That is the plan in your head, and honestly, it is not a bad plan. The thing sits there 24 hours a day. It never calls in sick. It never asks for a raise. You stock it on Sunday, and it sells all week without you standing next to it. There are more than 7 million of them in America, and almost $8 billion a year runs through the operators who own them. So the pitch is real. This is one of the very few businesses where the product genuinely does sell itself while you are asleep. Here's the problem. You are looking at the machine. The machine was never the business. It is a metal box that costs a couple of $1,000s and does exactly what it is told. The business is the 3 square feet of floor it is standing on, and who walks past that floor every day. You are not really buying equipment. You are renting somebody else's foot traffic, and you are paying them a cut for it. Get that part right, and the box prints money quietly for years. Get it wrong, and you own a very expensive shelf. So let us start with what it actually costs to get in. Start with the machine, because this is the part everybody overestimates. A used traditional snack or drink machine runs about $1,000 to $3,000. A new one is roughly $3,000 to $5,000. A smart machine, the kind with a touch screen, a card reader, and remote monitoring built in, starts around $6,000 and climbs past $15,000. Most people starting out with 2 or 3 machines are looking at $5,000 to $15,000 all in, depending entirely on whether they buy new or used. Then the things nobody puts on the list. A van, or at least a vehicle you can load a machine into. A pallet jack or a dolly rated for 600 pounds, because a full drink machine is genuinely dangerous to move. Your opening inventory. A card reader for every machine, plus its monthly fee. Insurance. A business license. And in most states, sales tax registration. Here is what that low barrier actually means, and it is not the good news it looks like. Anybody with $10,000 can buy 3 machines tomorrow. The equipment is not scarce, and it is not a moat. There is no shortage of machines in America. There is a shortage of good locations. That is the whole game, and it is the one thing your $10,000 cannot buy. There are 3 doors, and they are priced very differently. Door 1. Start from nothing. Buy a machine. Go find a location yourself. Negotiate the deal. Place it. Service it. Cheapest to enter, and by far the slowest, because you are building the only asset that matters one handshake at a time. Door 2. Buy an existing route. Somebody with 15 or 20 place machines sells you the whole thing, machines and locations together. This is the one most people have never heard of, and it is the most interesting, because you are not really buying the metal. You are buying signed locations with a known sales history. Routes are usually priced on a multiple of monthly profit, which tells you something important. The market already knows the locations are the asset, not the boxes. Door 3. Pay somebody to do it for you. There is a whole industry that will sell you machines, find your locations, and set the whole thing up. It is the fastest door and the most expensive one, and the quality of what you get depends entirely on the quality of the locations they hand you, which you cannot judge until the machine has been sitting there for 3 months. Notice what all 3 have in common. What you are really acquiring is permission to stand a box in a place where people already are. Not equipment, access. So let us talk about the thing that actually decides this. A vending machine does not create demand. It intercepts it. It only ever sells to people who are already going to walk past that exact spot, who are already a bit hungry, and who cannot easily get something better within about 90 seconds. That is the whole product. Interception. Which is why the same machine, with the same snacks, at the same prices, will do $400 a month in one building and $40 in another. It is not the machine. It is the traffic. And you do not get that traffic for free. The building wants a cut. Commission runs anywhere from 5 to 20% of gross sales. And most operators, working small and medium accounts, land somewhere between 8 and 12%. Read that again, because it is the part people miss. You pay a percentage of gross, not of profit. Gross. The location gets paid before you have covered a single bag of chips. So the deal you sign on day one sets the ceiling on everything that machine will ever earn you. There is no operating your way out of a bad commission on a weak site. The leading cause of failure in this business is not broken machines. It is placing a machine somewhere that was never going to work. Now the number everybody wants. A typical machine in a decent location does somewhere around $150 to $400 a month in gross sales. A genuinely good location with a modern machine taking cards runs from about $250 up to $1,000. That is a very wide range, and the width is the point. It is almost entirely explained by foot traffic and captivity. How many people walk past, and how easy is it for them to buy something else instead? An office with 200 staff and no shop nearby is a different business to a laundromat with a dozen customers a day, even though the machine is identical. Now take the money apart. Product cost is roughly a quarter to 40% of what you sell, depending what you stock. Gross margin on a well-run machine lands somewhere between 40 and 60%. Then the commission comes off the top. Then the card reader fee. Then fuel to get there. Then your own time. What is actually left per machine per month is around $50 to $150. $50 to $150. Hold on to that number, because it explains everything about how this business behaves. If one machine nets you $100 a month, then the shape of this business is obvious and slightly brutal. One machine is not a business. It is a hobby that pays for dinner. 10 machines is about $1,000 a month, which is a decent side income for a few hours of work a week. 50 machines is where it starts looking like an actual job, and it is also where it stops being simple, because now you are managing stock, breakdowns, and a driving route across a whole city. This is the part the videos skip. Vending does not scale by getting better. It scales by getting bigger. Your margin per machine barely improves as you grow. You just have more of them. Which means everything depends on two numbers that have nothing to do with snacks. How many machines you can place in good locations, and how long it takes you to drive between them. That second one is the one that quietly kills people. And it is worth its own section. You do not get paid to drive. Every machine on your route has to be visited. Somebody has to physically turn up, unlock it, restock it, pull the cash, check the coin mechanism, and leave. Call it 20 to 30 minutes a machine if nothing is wrong. Nothing about that is billable. It is pure cost. So look at two operators, both with 20 machines, both netting $100 a machine. On paper, they are the same $2,000 business. The first one has all 20 machines inside a 4-mile radius, 3 office parks and a hospital. He services the whole route in a day and a half. The second has 20 machines scattered across 40 miles, because he said yes to every location that would have him. Same 20 machines, same $2,000. But he is driving 11 hours a week that the first operator simply is not. Same revenue, same machines. One of them has a business, and the other has bought himself a delivery job. Density is not a nice to have in vending. It is the difference between a route that works and one that does not. Two things changed this business in the last decade, and both of them are worth real money. The first is card readers. Vending used to run on exact change, and the number of sales lost to somebody having a $5 bill and nothing else was enormous. Once people can tap, that barrier disappears, and because they are no longer limited by the coins in their pocket, they buy the more expensive item, and they buy two things instead of one. Operators commonly see average transaction value climb 20 to 30%. That is not a small tweak. That is the difference between a marginal location and a good one, on the same machine, in the same building. The second is telemetry. A machine that reports its own stock levels means you stop driving to machines that do not need you. Operators using remote monitoring cut unnecessary service visits by around 15%. 15% fewer stops on a route where driving is your biggest hidden cost. And it fixes the other thing cash was quietly costing you. A cash business runs 2 to 4% shrinkage from theft, from miscounts, from the coin mech eating $1. Cashless sales cannot walk off. The machines that make money in 2026 are not the cheap ones. They are the ones that take cards and tell you when they are empty. Now the leaks, because there are more of them than the pitch admits. Stale stock. Everything in that machine has an expiry date. And anything that does not sell is not just lost profit. It is inventory you paid for and then threw away. A slow machine does not simply earn less. It actively destroys stock. Breakdowns. A coin mechanism jams. A compressor dies. A spiral stops turning. The machine does not tell you, so it stands there dead until your next visit, earning nothing, in a building where 100 people a day are now learning that your machine does not work. Vandalism and theft, which is real, and which is worse, in exactly the high-traffic public locations that otherwise look attractive. Fuel and vehicle wear across a route you drive every week. The card reader fee, which is small per transaction and permanent. And the quiet one. Your own time. 20 machines at 25 minutes each, plus driving, is most of a working weekend. Every week. Forever. If you are not counting that as a cost, your margins are fiction. None of these are dramatic. That is exactly why they get missed. Everything so far has been the operating business. Now the actual reason to build one properly. You do not own machines. You own placements. A machine is a depreciating metal box with a resale value that drops the day you buy it. Assigned location with 2 years of sales history is something somebody else will pay real money for. That is why routes sell on a multiple of monthly profit, not on the value of the equipment. Nobody buying a route is paying for your boxes. They are paying for the fact that on Monday morning, 400 people will walk past a machine you are allowed to have there, which means the whole game is to accumulate good placements and hold them. And placements have a property most small business assets do not. They compound with density. Every new machine you put inside your existing radius is more profitable than the last one, because the drive is already paid for. That is the lever. Not more machines. More machines close together. So what actually kills these? Roughly 80% of solo vending operators do not make it through year one, and it is almost never the thing they expected. The first killer is a bad placement. A machine in a location that was never viable cannot be saved by better snacks, better pricing, or better service. The traffic either walks past that spot or it does not. Most people take the first location that says yes because getting a yes feels like progress. The second is treating it as passive. The whole appeal of vending is that it looks like set and forget, so people set it and forget it. Then the machine is empty for 2 weeks. The building stops using it, and the account is dead long before anyone notices. The third is scattering. Saying yes to a good location 30 miles outside your radius feels like growth. It is not. It is an unpaid drive you have now committed to making every single week. The operators who last do the opposite. They walk away from weak sites. They service relentlessly, and they grow in tight circles instead of straight lines. Let us run it twice. Version 1. 20 machines, all inside a 4-mile radius. All in offices and gyms with real footfall. Average $120 net a machine. That is $2,400 a month. Servicing takes about a day and a half a week. Commission averages 10%, and every machine takes cards. The route is worth real money the day he decides to sell, because the buyer is purchasing 20 proven placements. Version 2. Same 20 machines, same money spent, but they went wherever a yes was available, spread over 40 miles. Average $60 net a machine, because half the sites were weak. That is $1,200 a month. Servicing now takes 3 days a week because of the driving. 2 machines are cash only. One has been broken for a fortnight, and he does not know yet. Same equipment. Same effort. Half the money and twice the work. The difference was never the machines. It was which floors they were standing on, and how far apart those floors were. So who wins here? Almost never the person who bought the nicest machines. The operators who do well look remarkably similar. They are ruthless about locations, and they say no constantly. They cluster tightly instead of chasing every yes. They put card readers in everything. They service like it is a promise, because in a building it is. And they treat the placement, not the machine, as the thing they own. The ones who lose look similar too. They bought equipment before they had locations. They took whatever site would have them. They believed the passive part, and they scattered themselves across a city, chasing machines instead of building a route. Here is the honest version. Vending is a genuinely good business, and it is one of the very few where you can start small, keep your job, and build something that is genuinely worth selling later. Because placements are an asset in a way that most small business equipment never is. But it is not passive. It is a route business wearing a snack machine costume. You are not buying a box. You are renting a few square feet of somebody else's foot traffic. Get the floor right, keep the machines close together, and the boxes take care of the rest. If you want the real numbers on the next business everyone calls easy money, subscribe. Breaking these down properly is the whole point of this channel. That is the economics of owning a vending machine route.